And what's up, everyone? This is Martin Williams. Thank you for listening to Playbook Radio. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. All the links to the podcast can be found at gameplanplaybook.com. Today, I wanted to talk to you about staying the course. It's very easy to get distracted, get sidetracked, and chase different things, especially when you decide to move towards whatever your desire is, move forward in an endeavor, whether it's a business, a professional goal, a relationship decision, or a commitment to improve your health. And you start with real enthusiasm. You know what you're going to do and what direction you're going in. And tomorrow, when you wake up, something is pulling you in a different direction. That's very common. It's not always easy to deal with. And a lot of people get stuck in this loop of, what do I do? Which direction is the right one? But the thing about being the creator of your reality is you decide what the direction is. You decide what you want. Then that thing pulls you toward it rather than you having to push yourself toward it. On the level of effort or conditions, we have to motivate ourselves and push. But on a creative level, the level of faith, you're being pulled. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to make a decision. It means the thing you're moving toward is pulling you more than you're pushing yourself. What happens to a lot of people is that they get a genuinely good idea. They make a decision, they start moving, and then they get sidetracked. And the more ideas you have, the more creative you are, the more directions you'll get pulled in. That's just a fact of life. Getting pulled in different directions isn't a bad thing if you know how to manage it. And if you don't, then a year goes by, you've made no measurable progress on the thing that you originally set out to do because all those other ideas kept pulling at you. For example, say you decide you want to be a relationship coach. You get into it and you think, maybe I should write a book. A week later, maybe I need a 7-day challenge. 2 weeks later, maybe I need to go to work for this person and get more experience. Then something else, and something else. And all these ideas pile up. You start chasing each one and drift away from the core decision you made. A lot of times we get pulled in different directions because we don't know how we're going to support ourselves. You have a business idea and the first thought is, how am I going to pay my bills? Get out of debt. Explain to my family that this is calling me, but I don't have a real financial plan. Or I need to lose weight, but I don't know how. So I chase 50 different weight loss plans and books and teachers, and at the end of the day, I haven't lost any weight. I probably gained some. There was a singular path that if I had just stayed on it, it would have gotten me there. If I had just stayed on it, the business would be up and running. If I had just stayed on it, I'd be happily in that relationship. Too many times, we don't stay the course. It's easier said than done. I get it. Your mind might be flooded with 100 different ideas, but stay the course until you build confidence and start getting results. Once you've accomplished the goal, then you can do something different. Too many times we abandon our goals because of shiny object syndrome, chasing after every new idea instead of sticking with the one that matters. So I'll tell you from experience, an old man talking to you right now, very often the simple, straightforward thing produces the greatest result, simply because someone kept doing it. Some people said, or some people might say, I tried that and it didn't pay off. So my question to them would be, how long did you stick with it? Most of the time, the answer is less than 2 weeks, maybe a month. Very rarely do I hear someone say, I did this every single day for 90 days and it didn't work. Not a year, just 90 days. And almost every time the longer that someone stays in an endeavor, the more likely it is to work and the greater the results. Because the results are exponential the longer you stick with it. The hard part, of course, is sticking with it. And again, I get it. You're creative. You're impatient sometimes. You need results. You got bills to pay. all understandable. But what I've learned is that if you stay with something long enough, it will produce the result you need. Most people who find success don't find it by jumping from one thing to the next. They find it by honing in on one core idea, getting a result, and then spreading out from there. There's always a core thing they did consistently that got them there. Using the teachings of Neville Goddard, here's how I would approach it. Instead of worrying about whether you'll have enough money for rent or the mortgage, see yourself as already having more than enough while doing the things you love, the things that mean something to you, the things you know you're here to do. Never let the thought of, I don't have enough or I'll never be able to do this into your mind. It's going to be a challenge to think that way at first. If you're hesitant to quit your job, maybe that's how you should spend the time you have left there. Learning how to think so that once you do leave, you already know how. Because the most important thing in life to me is knowing how to think. So when circumstances hit, and they will, some foreseen, many unforeseen, you can always put yourself back on your feet. Most people only learn how to think when things go right. But real thinking is tested when you meet adversity, when people aren't out to help you, when they're competing against you. It's easy to get caught up in what's happening around you. But when you know how to think, it matters less and less. Think in these terms. I'm doing this, and not only is it going to work, it's going to work spectacularly. I'm going to have everything I need financially and otherwise. And it's not going to take 10 years. By this time next year, I'll be full-time in my dream work, making a high income with more time off than I have now, the freedom to travel, the freedom to enjoy life. You have to speak it into existence. You have to think on that level in order for it to be drawn into your life. If you're not thinking like that, it's not going to come. And if by chance it comes by some sort of miracle, it won't stay. As long as you're thinking doom, gloom, dread, you're more likely to attract that than the thing you actually want. But it all begins with staying the course, not just with your actions, but with your mind. Stay the course with your mind, and if you stick with it long enough, you'll start to see the results. So thank you so much for listening. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon.